Good morning, loves. Happy Easter. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Today on the podcast, I have Lisa Woodruff, and I'm really excited to dive in. But before we do, I wanted to give you a quick heads up. We have some really exciting things coming up. I have been enjoying being in person with my people. I just did a full moon reset. It's a session of healing with other like-minded women and deep conversations, a recognition in each other. It's really hard to explain, something that is felt. So in honor of that and in honor of the energy that those events are giving me, I am creating more of them. So if you go to designthelifeyoulovelens.com and you go to the events tab, you'll see all of the ways that you can join me. They are all at my house, which if the weather cooperates, we will be outside on the beach or on the riverbank. And if not, I have a really cozy spot right up here where we have big windows, lots of natural light. It's all overlooking the river, and it's just my favorite spot in the whole house. It feels like a warm, cozy hug. So you are welcome to join those, or we have Sacred Rage coming May 1st. My friend Jenna and I are hosting that event, and you don't have to feel rage to come and benefit. If you want to feel lighter and have more clarity around your decisions, be able to alchemize your past so that you can move more swiftly, this event is for you. There's just nothing like being in person together, and especially for those longer periods of time. This is like a reset on steroids. So we have lots of fun things planned for you, and you can still save your spot. I will put the link in the show notes, but without further ado, let's dive into this episode with my new friend, Lisa Woodruff from Organize 365 and author of Escaping Quicksand. I think you're going to love it. Hello, my loves. Today on the podcast, I have Lisa Woodruff from Organize 365. And she's also the author of Escaping Quicksand, which I have my very own copy right here. And I started actually reading it while in the bathtub sick when we were supposed to do our first interview. So I got a little chance to read a little bit more. But your tagline for your book is 10 Steps to Overcome the Overwhelm of Modern Home Life. I think all of my listeners are going to be like, yes. Tell
Just
me
a light
more.
read.
Right? Well, it's a very easy read, but it's also like you feel very seen because, we are all kind of struggling with the same stuff, and there's a lot going on, and women, we take on a little more than we bargain for sometimes. So welcome to the show. Thank you for being here, and I can't wait to just dive in.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And I love that you feel seen, because I think that the number one thing that we all feel as women in our homes is that we're the only one. Like everybody else has it all together, and we are the only one that doesn't have it together, and that we better figure it out and figure it out fast and present our best selves on Instagram. And I'm just here to say, no one has it figured out. No one. And I think everyone on Instagram that shares a photo should mandatorily have to flip 180 degrees and take another picture. Like, I just think you should have to show the front and the back. I don't think you should be able to put one post up. That's like my thing. How do we get people to do that?
Yeah, I mean, it really can mess with your mind because if you are in the middle of chaos at home and you sit down for 2 seconds to look at your phone or check your email and you happen to see somebody's, perfectly polished
Yeah.
home life and they look like they are ready for a magazine shoot, it's like, oh my God, what am I doing wrong? Right?
Yeah. Nothing. You're doing nothing wrong. I don't know. I'm 54 now, and I just wish somebody had told me in my late 30s and early 40s, like, this is normal. You're doing fine. Everybody's houses are this way. Like, nobody has it all together. I cannot say it enough.
Mm. So when would you say, you said early 40s, late 30s, was that the moment in your life when you realized you were not living or you were living by default and you needed to kind of switch the program and start living with more intention or?
Yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily default. It was just like like going into my 40th birthday, I was like a car that had already run out of gas and I was pushing it uphill by myself. Like it was just like, I don't know, whatever country song is your favorite country song, insert me there. I was just, I have never been so depressed, overweight, worn down, reactive, just depleted in every way, shape, or form. Like, just, I felt like roadkill. I literally felt like roadkill. And I was like, how am I going to solve this? Like, I have to solve this problem. Like, how do I used to be positive and proactive, and people called me Tigger. Like, I mean, and I am like clearly Eeyore, like down in the mud somewhere. Like, I was just like sinking in my quicksand. I didn't know how to save myself, like how to pull myself out. And as I started to start my business in my 40s and get organized, and I look back on it now, I quickly realized that everyone else around me was also sinking in quicksand. It wasn't just me, and we all were overwhelmed, and we all didn't know what to do. And we didn't have enough energy to help the people around us. So we had to help ourselves. And that is a hard place to be. Like when you're depleted of everything, how do you even know what to do first? Like everything's on fire. Like
Yeah.
how do you save yourself? And as I started organizing people in homes in the beginning of my 40s, as I started Organize 365, that's when I really saw like, okay, I could see where this woman went off the rails because of a miscarriage. This woman went off the rails because of a divorce. This woman went off the rails because, husband lost his job. Like I could see the catalyst that started the slide into the pit of despair. And luckily they had enough money to hire a professional organizer to come help them. But a lot of them were like feeling guilty about it, or their spouses were making them feel guilty about needing the help. Like, why can't you just figure this out on your own? And I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, why are we so hard on ourselves? Why is everybody so hard on us? Why? Because we have boobs. Are we supposed to be able to know how to organize our house? Like, what is going on? Like, why is this literally like everyone I could see? And I know it's not everybody, it was everyone I could see.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you, and this was, 14 years ago. So you couldn't be like at the bus stop going, hey, I'm a hot mess. Any suggestions? I'll go try them today and we could talk about it tomorrow. Okay. You won't judge me. Like you don't want to like appear vulnerable like that. So yeah, how do we do it? Like, how do we save ourselves? How do you, put your oxygen mask on first? How do you do that? That's what this book is. How did I do that? What are the mental mindset shifts I had to do in order to outwardly get organized and become productive again?
Mm. There are so many things that came up as you were talking. Like,
Sorry.
no, it's good. I try to just stay with the conversation and not try to like direct it too much, and whatever I still have by the time you're done talking, then I'll, that must be the thing that we gotta, put the thread we have to pull on. One of the, it reminded me of moments where I find myself like sitting at a baseball game and all the moms are kind of peppered around. Nobody's
Mm-hmm.
really like huddled together. And I feel like we're all sitting there looking at each other like, oh, she's really got it together. Or,
Yes.
man, she's got the great job. Or, man, she's got the great body. Or, man, she's got all of it. Like,
Yes.
I wish my life was not such a dumpster fire, um, or something like that, but really, we're all sitting there, I think, to some degree, thinking a little bit of that, a version of
Absolutely.
that.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. They're looking at you and they're going, "Oh my goodness, she's got a new little baby. How cute is that?" Like, "Oh, I remember those days. Wish I had those days." And they're thinking maybe like, "I hope my mom, got her food out because really I should be over there making her food for her or something because she just fell," or like, we're all worried about things. And so I'm the weird one that's like, "Hi, I'm Lisa. Hi, I'm Lisa." And like people are like, "Go over there." Like I'm at the little swim class with my 4-year-old grandson. I'm like, "Hi, my grandson's playing with your child, and how are you?" And they're like, "We are trying to scroll our phone for 5 minutes while our kid is in the pool." I just love talking to other women, and when you do finally get in the conversations, they're like, "Yeah, I feel like a hot mess too." I was talking to a friend of mine. We were on a walk, and and she said, "Wow, you got a lot going on, Lisa. Like, I mean, you have bigger dumpster fires than most of the dumpster fires I know." And like my life is really good. And I said, "Oh yeah, well, you just see my dumpster fires from farther away." There we all have them. Like as good as my life is, we all have these things that we are struggling with personally, relationally, things that you can't just solve all the problems in the world.
Right, right. Yeah, and you bring up that we're sitting there scrolling our phones, or some of the moms are scrolling our phones, and it is like this checkout time, right? Like
Hmm.
lock yourself in the bathroom, scroll your phone for 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I totally get that. But really, what makes a person feel better is when we have that connection
Yes.
and we look at each other in the eyeballs and how are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
you're not alone. So,
Hmm.
did
Hmm.
you like start talking to other people when you kind of started figuring out how to come out of, you call it pit of despair, right?
Yeah,
Or,
the pit of despair.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm older than you. So this is a reference to what is it? Princess Bride, where they had
Oh,
the
okay.
pit of despair and they've got the quicksand. It's my husband's favorite movie. So old
Oh,
people get the jokes. But yeah, the pit of despair. Like you're in the bottom of the pit of despair. No, I thought everybody around me had it all together. We didn't even have Instagram when, did we? 2012? No, I still had a BlackBerry when I started my company. I'm feeling really old today, Lindsay.
you are
Older
not,
than usual.
I'm 40.
Uh,
I'm 40. I feel
okay, I'm
like
54. So
I,
you're the age I was when I started my company.
right. And I feel like this
Yeah.
is also a trend with women. Like, we do the big things like in the late 30s, early 40s, start
Yeah,
businesses.
because how the heck are you going to raise a household and also start a business? A household is a business. You got
Right.
to run one before you run the other. But what
Mm,
I did was I found podcasts really quickly after starting my company. And so I was driving to jobs, I'd be working on jobs, I'd be organizing my own house, just like you're listening to this podcast. And I mean, the podcasts I listen to, those are my besties. Like, and I change who the podcasts are that I listen to, but they say you are the average of the 5 people that you surround yourself with.
hmm
I got rid of my negative friends, which meant I had like no friends then for a period of time. So my friends were literally podcasters, you guys, and I would plow through like I'm a content junkie. So like 4, 5, 6 episodes a day. Like I got so much out of podcast rewired my brain. Like they
Mm,
gave me friends, they gave me insights. Like you're part of this conversation with Lindsay and I. We're just having coffee, you know, together, the three of us. And
mm.
we just can't hear your part of the conversation, but you're nodding and you're thinking and you're interjecting. I just can't hear what you're saying. I love podcasts. I think podcasts rewire your brain better than anything else.
I totally agree. There's something about having somebody in your ear.
Hmm.
I have a private podcast called Reset for my women in my
Ooh,
community. And it
neat.
started out being just I'm going to try this. It was going to be a
Hmm.
supplemental thing. And then I have 90 some days recorded. I'm like, I don't even know if I'm going to do more than 90, but I got extra stuff and they really like it. And I think there's a level of intimacy, right,
Yes.
that happens in
Yes.
podcasts and by listening to somebody when you're driving around or you're cleaning. And it's like is it a passive way of learning? I don't know, but it's just a really good way of learning and listening and allowing it to like integrate instead of
And
sitting.
and you feel heard. And like you said, you feel seen and you feel like other people are doing it. Like a lot of businesses are talking right now about how their online business model broke in 2024 and 2025. And
Mm,
mine didn't break. But I'm like, is mine gonna break? Like, am I gonna be an ass? I just can't. And I love listening in on those business conversations because how else
yep.
are you gonna get that information? And I think like to the point of your private podcast, I have an app. Like I went off of Facebook a while ago just because some of my audience members didn't want to be on it. So I have like a private app that we're in. And I'll go
Mm.
live in that app and I will share things I should not share publicly because I'm not on Instagram and it's not on the podcast. I'm like, well, it's in the private app. There's just, thousands of people listening to me because these are my best friends. Like my
Yeah.
podcast listeners are my best friends. And I really feel like we're friends and we see each other in person and I'm like hugging them and we start conversations where I just let them talk because clearly they've already heard me. I want to
Mm.
hear from them and we find our like-minded communities. Like when your podcast people get together in the same space, they all have so many commonalities because they like you and what you're teaching and they have similarities and it's just awesome. I
And
love podcasts.
same. And if it resonates with them and it resonates with
Hmm.
you, it's just like this instant connection and instant, I don't know, upgrade. It's so good. Yeah. So good.
And
And I love,
lifelong learners.
Yeah.
You're not listening to a podcast if you're not a learner. Well, at least not this one. Maybe a murder mystery one. I don't even know what those are, but I'm always listening to learning ones. Like
Same.
we are the learners.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I think that's a really important ingredient to a wholesomely successful life. Like there's
Yes.
the old version of success where you had the nice car, you looked good on the outside,
Yes.
but you were probably empty on the inside. I've had that, I've done that, I've burned, I guess it's still probably smoldering, but the version of me that I'm creating now is not as
Mhm.
easily understood by the outside world unless you're in a community like this. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. That was kind of a
And
tangent.
who cares? Like, because there are, I mean, we need people that are going to climb the corporate ladder and be the heads of these companies. Like, please, women, climb up.
Mm,
Let me put your shoes on you or carry them up for you. But it's not going to be us. And that's okay.
mm. Yep,
Yeah.
yep, yeah. It takes all kinds of kinds to make the world go around, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so you started Organized 365. Um, were you in the middle of your like becoming, or was that after you had kind of like healed yourself, or like how did that whole timeline work?
I was done breaking. Let's put it that way.
I was gonna say I
So
shouldn't say healed
it's
yourself
done
because there's
breaking.
never a done.
I think, we hold on for so long. We give and we give and we give and we give and we give until we can't give anymore. And then we're like, oh no, now what are we gonna do? So in my mid 30s, my kids were I adopted my kids when I was 28 and 29. And then as a stay-at-home mom, loved it, loved it. But they had a lot of challenges, educational and health challenges. So I was like, that's it. I'm gonna solve this problem. I'm a preschool teacher. I can handle all this stuff. Well, then when my kids were 4 and 5, my parents separated and ultimately got divorced. And it was like a War of the Roses type divorce. Again, a reference to a 1980s movie, which is where
When
like they burned it all down.
I'm sorry, you said when you were four,
When
they
my
got
kids were four and
or
five,
when your kids. Okay, okay,
so I'm
gotcha.
like 30, 33, 34.
Okay.
They separate and they get divorced and it's ugly. Sometimes it's not ugly. This was ugly. And then my dad got sick. He ultimately passed away. And so my sister and I were the executor of the estate. Power of healthcare, power of attorney, executor of the estate, selling our family home. It was lots of fun. So that is bad. And that's a life experience. But then you add on, how as you get to the end of your 30s, there's just like, let's just add some more things on top of this. So the direct sales company, I was a leader in creative memory scrapbooks, went bankrupt twice. 2008, 2009 recession happened. The kids' medical needs were going through the roof. It was just everything. You know how if one thing breaks, everything breaks. So it was December of 2011. I had 9 Schedule Cs on my tax return that year. I was teaching in a private school. I was cleaning people's houses. I was in, I think, 4 direct sales companies. I was tutoring kids on the side. I don't know what the other businesses were.
Oh my
So
gosh.
it's the day before winter break. And my administrator, I'm 39 years old. My administrator holds me back for this impromptu parent meeting, which was, nonsensical. And then she says, I need you to stay back and I need to talk to you. And I'm like, okay, but my daughter was sick. Like I needed to get home. So I was like, okay, well, what am I going to do? My administrator wants to talk to me. So she says, I don't think you're a very good teacher. And I was like, oh, hi, how are you doing? Good evening. And I was like, okay, okay. And I don't even really remember what she said after that.
You
I
blacked
get in
out.
my car and it's raining in Ohio. It's dark. I'm driving home to whatever is awaiting me at home. It's Thursday night. I walk in. My husband's watching. He's taking care of the kids. They're in bed. He's watching football. I said, I'm quitting my job. He goes, fine, whatever. I go upstairs. I write the resignation letter. I come down and I'm like, read it. And he's like, whatever. I'm like, no, you need to read it. I'm quitting my job tomorrow. You need to read it. And we did not have enough money for me to quit my job. We were in the most debt we've ever been in. So he reads the letter. He's like, fine. So I go to work the next day. I slide it under the locked administrator door and I walk down the hall and I tell my co-teacher, I just quit my job. She's like, no, we got to get it back. Like you have to. I said, no, I'm done. I'm done. The only thing I was still successful at the end of that year was being a teacher. I was staying up till midnight, grading papers, planning for school, getting up at 5 a.m. to get my kids wherever they needed to be to do this job. I was teaching 16 different algebra lessons because I was teaching Montessori as purely as I could. So I had 16 different lessons for the kids so that nobody was on the same track. If that's not good enough, then why am I sacrificing my marriage, my kids, my health, my house, my everything for this job? It was the only thing I was still doing well. And my minister said I wasn't doing it well. Whether I was or wasn't is kind of irrelevant. Maybe I really did suck at my job. I don't know. It doesn't matter. If you think I suck, I'm done. Like, I do suck at parenting right now, and I will regret this the rest of my life. I am the only mother to these children, so I'm going to quit my job. So I quit my job, and then I reported to work for 3 more weeks. And finally, I was like, I'm not coming tomorrow. So, I mean, I've given you more than 2 weeks notice. It's really not my problem. You haven't figured out who is going to take my job. So it's like the Monday after Martin Luther King Day. It's Tuesday. I'm sitting there and I'm like, what am I going to do? Like, what am I going to do? So I just started the company, Organized 365 as a blog. I thought it was a good SEO keyword. No idea how it's going to make money. That's how I started. No plan.
I love it.
Bad at everything, including the job that I just quit, like in the bottom of the pit of despair, sinking in quicksand. That's how I started. It was wonderful.
Okay, so all of this is coming back to me now from reading the first part of your book. And now I'm like, this is why I needed to talk to her. This is why I needed the book because yeah, a lot of similarities. I mean, I what do you call it? The leap in the net will appear.
Yeah.
Leap. That's the book that I'm trying to think of.
Yeah.
I had read that and I had quit my, quote, safe job to start my design business. And I ended up recreating the exact same nightmare. I burned out so fast.
Oh.
So yeah, I just closed that December 31st of last year and I'm rebuilding and I had no backup plan with my starting my design business. It's not like I'm making a bunch of money in my business right now where it justifies, oh yeah, you can quit your 6-figure design business.
Right.
Nope. We're just gonna say screw it and close the doors.
Move on.
Yep. And everybody's looking at me like, what are you doing? But I just
We don't know. Thank you for asking. We'll let you know when we figure it out. We're a work in progress.
Yeah.
It's going to be fine. We're going to be fine. We're not fine, but it's going to be fine.
I feel like the more I lean into the nudges that tell me, you just got to do this. It doesn't look good on paper. You just got to do it. It might take a little longer than you want it to. Like my design business, that seemed to take 5 minutes, but obviously that's been 5 years ago. Where this is like, okay, any minute now, it's going to like, oops, take off just as fast as the design business. But I guess what I'm learning about myself and what you probably learned about yourself is it's not necessarily about the money. It's about what your life means to you. And like you said, your biggest regret is going to be in your parenting, not necessarily whether or not your administrator's happy with your job performance.
Yeah. So weird that I mentioned in your podcast about like I'm listening to these podcasts about how these online businesses are closing and stuff. I've never mentioned that in a podcast. Like I've told 2 people that. But what I would say to that is, and I don't know why I feel led to say this, but I say way too many things. I think that growing your entrepreneurial business is really learning to follow your intuition. And if you're truly visionary, your intuition doesn't even make sense to you because you're too far ahead of the market. I'm usually too far ahead of the market. And so you need to learn to like be a little less visionary so that the market can catch up to you. That's one thing I would say. The other thing I would say is I have been in business 14 years. I am very successful financially and creatively. I've created patents and I have a lot of fun things that I've done. Along the way, I have never gone viral. I have not gotten any brand deals. I don't have any ads on my podcast, which I've had for 11 years. Like all the ways in which most people made money online, either I didn't seek it or I tried and people said no. And I was like, okay. But now, 14 years later, doesn't matter. I don't have advertising on my podcast. I'm not losing that revenue now. Doesn't matter that I don't have a brand deal. I'm not losing that revenue now. Like I have had to double down on myself every year for 14 years. So now what I do have in the marketplace is, I mean, when you read the book, Escaping Quicksand, you're going to get a lot of aha moments because you've never heard this stuff before. Nobody's ever said it before because nobody's thought about it as much as nobody has thought about how the households run as much as I have. Nobody. Nobody in design, nobody in organizing. I was talking to, I was on an anthropologist's podcast and they were like, oh my gosh, you're an anthropologist. I'm like, no, I'm getting a PhD in applied psychology. They're like, well, you could be an anthropologist. Like the way that I have just doubled down on teaching and understanding what I want to be uniquely gifted and created to do, which is organizing the home and organizing it so that you have more time to do what you're uniquely gifted and created to do. Understanding people who live in the houses, how that evolves over time, has created a body of work that is so unique and deep that I can just, I mean, we could talk about anything you want and I'll be able to bring it back to what my uniqueness is. So I guess I feel like I want to say that because if you're listening and you're also at this place where I was starting my company, there's probably a lot of things you're going to want to do. And you're like, this makes no sense. Why would I want to start a podcast 11 years ago? Why would I want to patent and manufacture a physical product in 2018? Like I have a physical product I sell, but I'm like one of the only organizers that has a physical product.
Mm.
And that's why my company is still so solid now. I don't sell courses. I sell a course that teaches you how to use a physical product that also has always had a co-working component to it and a certification. So my business has like a four-legged stool. I didn't build it on just a course or just to this or just to that. And at the time, I was like, why am I making this so complicated for myself? Why don't I just do it the easy way? Why don't I just do launches? Why don't I? And I was like, no, I just feel like this is how it's supposed to be. I don't have recurring revenue. Everything I sell is lifetime. You get lifetime access. Nobody did that. I did that. Like, follow your gut.
Yes. Oh,
Follow
I
your
love
gut.
this. This is so aligned and so divinely timed. Yes, I 100% agree. I, like you, I've got all these little things, and everybody that teaches out there says, pick
Yeah.
one thing and stick to it and perfect it and blah, blah,
Whatever.
blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that doesn't work for me. I don't know if you know
Yeah.
anything about human design, but I'm a manifesting
Yes.
generator. Yes?
Okay. Yes. Well, a
So
little bit. Yeah.
enough to be dangerous,
I
maybe?
wonder, I wonder, no. Okay. I was thinking human design as in like psychology, but no, now I need to know this and I need to know what I am.
Oh, yeah, it's
I
so
love personality
fascinating.
tests.
It's like a personality test on steroids. It's
Love it.
personality, astrology, I Ching, all of the things.
Oh, love it. Okay.
Um, but yeah, as a manifesting generator, I am actually, my design is to follow all the things that light me up, and I don't have to finish things. And that's
Ooh,
something
that's
that
probably me.
I'm thinking we might have similar
Yeah.
traits and similar design because the world has told me, no, you got to pick one thing and finish it, and then you can move on. And
Right.
all of a sudden, so I've been at this for like, I don't know, 2 years, not even. I started with a retreat and I've built all these little things and now I'm putting them together. So it sounds like
Yeah.
that is similar. And I want our listeners to hear that you don't have to do things the way everybody else says or follow a pattern. Like following your intuition is going to lead
Yeah.
you where you need to be. And
Yeah.
I love that you didn't do the norm. You didn't worry about
Yeah.
the stuff,
I worried about it. Didn't do it.
but you did it anyway, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And never went viral. Not a single post or anything. Like we chase the wrong things, I think sometimes.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Like core audience members and customers, like the bird in the hand, like who is putting down or picking up what you're laying down? Who is interested in having a conversation with you in your Instagram DMs? Who is buying your introductory $97 course and having success? How'd they have success? Like interviewing them, like who are the people that you are in relationship with? It's all about relationships and that energy grows.
That is another repeating message, 100%.
Yeah.
Um, that came to me right before before we started our interview, and that was one of the things
Yeah.
that got me my last job where I was hired. I interviewed against other people that had much more qualifications than I did, a lot more qualifications than I did, and I was told that I got the job because of my relationship building skills. And
Mm,
that is so important right now going forward with
yeah.
all of the
Yeah.
AI. Do you agree?
Critical thinking, being able to create something new. I was listening to an interview, the head of NVIDIA, Jensen. He said these companies, I think Oracle just laid off 21,000 people. And I think before that, it was whatever, one of these payment processors. He said, you're doing it wrong. You're doing AI wrong. He said, you are supposed to be using AI to take away the repetitive work from your employees to free them up to do what is coming next, not to eliminate them. He goes, you will be eliminated. And if you look back at the Industrial Revolution, the Knowledge Revolution, all of those, like all of those created increased capacity for what was next, for more human design, for more uniqueness, not so that we could just get paid by the government and do nothing. What is this idea that we're going to get this universal, like, fine, universal money, whatever, I don't care if we do or don't get it. But how boring with, you can't pay me to stay home and play on my phone. Like, I want to be creating, doing, entrepreneuring. I want to do what is next? What does this unlock for us? You know, I do remember when computers came on the scene and we're like, oh, you know, I remember Oprah said that she put her credit card in the Amazon thing because everybody was afraid to store their credit cards anywhere. She's like, oh yeah, I just ordered from Amazon. My credit card is in there. And everybody was like, you stored your credit card online? Like it was like so shocking to everyone. But because Oprah did it, then we all put our credit cards into Amazon. Like there was a day before there was an Amazon, you guys. Can you imagine life without Amazon? Can you imagine life without the internet? You know, can you imagine rotary dial-up phones, like not having a phone in your car? Like I've lived through all of this. And you think that's going to be the end? No, it's just the next, the next, the next, the next. So the question is not, what are we going to lose with AI? Or how do we make our life so easy that it's on autopilot or AI just lives our life for us? That's very boring to me. It's what capability does this unlock? I, for a fact, would not be able to have my business if I hadn't started in 2012. I could have never started it in the 80s, 90s, or 2000s. I had to have the internet to have it. Yep. To find my audience on a podcast and a website for them to come shop. I couldn't have done this with a radio show and a brick and mortar store. It wouldn't have been the same thing.
Right.
So what is going to be unlocked?
I love that question. What is going to be, and that is the perfect way to look at what AI is here to do because no, I think like look at people who retire and they don't go to work anymore and what that does to their quality of life, depending on their choices, right? If they sit at home versus if they're out golfing with their friends on Tuesdays and they're in a car club the next, you have to have purpose in order to be fulfilled, and you have to have purpose in order to like be healthy mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. So we're not going to sit around on our phones. I love that you bring that up. And how is this going to help us unlock and evolve, really? Because it is just like the last revolution. It's just what's going to happen to us next is the question. How are we going to use it?
It's the unknown.
Yeah.
The unknown. Yeah. And entrepreneurs should be more, not tolerant of that, but more, we think of it more expansively.
Lean into it more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we're designing the life we want. So we're like, okay, well, how can we use this to design it? Like, what does this open up for us?
Yeah. Because that growth edge, that's where things evolve and change. And you mentioned entrepreneurship and how I feel like that period of my life is where I grew the most, right? You can't really run from yourself when you are the boss and the, wearing all the hats.
Yeah. Payroll begins and ends with you.
Right? Yes,
yeah.
Exactly. So if you want to really go through a big growth spurt, just start a business.
Yeah, right.
So behind you, I see is that your Sunday basket?
Yes.
Okay, tell me about that.
Okay, the Sunday basket. So this I found when my kids were your daughter's age. They were 6 and 2 years old, and I had a stack of papers. It was like a foot tall at the end of my kitchen counter. And every time my son would fall asleep for 20 minutes, I'd go over to the stack and start to sort it. And by the time I figured out what to do, he was awake again. So I was paying bills late just because I just was so behind the 8 ball. And now today, we have a lot of digital things. So you may say, well, why do you need a kitchen counter thing for all of your papers? but we're not digital. Like we still have things on to-do lists and things to return. And so the Sunday basket is a box that you put on your kitchen counter, and it holds all that stuff that you're holding on your kitchen counter because it's in process. So you don't want to move it because then you would forget it. And then it also has these colored index files. They're called slash pockets, and they are how you run your house like a business. So in a business, you have sales, marketing, operations, finance. At home, you have people, the physical home, the finances, and your personal goals. So those all have colors. And then there's also a rainbow set, which are the weekly things you need to do, like planning your grocery list and your errand list and bill paying and updating your calendar and things that you're waiting for or need to file and things like that. And it's a weekly planning system. So we've all created one. Like everybody's cobbled together one of these on your own. I just made it kindergarten simple, color coded it so that if you are struggling with your weekly planning or you've never had a good system, this will work. Because when I taught school, I taught preschool, and I usually taught the kids that were at risk or had ADHD or learning disabilities. So I learned quickly that color coding really helps. Like having a color coding system, having things have a category, and then because everybody in the course, and it's a lifetime course, is using the same colors, when you go in and ask a question, anybody can help you because everybody's using the same colors for everything. So it's kind of, you can crowdsource it.
That's so good. I love kindergarten simple.
Yeah,
That is
kindergarten
beautiful.
simple.
Yep. Mm. Okay, so you said run your house like a business.
Yeah.
Um, Elaborate on that if you would.
Okay, so first of all, it is business. 68% of US GDP is household spending. So all of us are running businesses, like the business of the world, basically, if you're an American household. And even when I was a stay-at-home mom, I took my role financially seriously because everything I could save or make from scratch, we didn't need income for. And yes, my husband was paid and he was the one generating most of the income and he was earning a certain dollar per hour in his corporate job. But once that money comes into the household and you're budgeting it and you're reallocating it, well, you're the CEO of the household, the CFO of the household. And so the size business you're running is whatever you put on your tax return. So it could be $50,000, it could be $150,000. It really doesn't matter. That's the size business you're running. And as I say that to people, men, as they're thinking about their spouses who are stay-at-home wives, there's this one man on a podcast. He goes, "Oh my gosh, everyone in my industry makes $300,000." I said, "Great, she's running a $300,000 industry." He's like, "Oh my gosh!" Like he was just like, it blew his mind. I want to
Yeah.
blow your mind, you guys. We're like, "Oh, it's unpaid labor. The government should pay us." No, you're running an economic entity. Like you earn the money one place, you get paid one place, and then you redistribute it the other one. Just because you didn't earn it in the marketplace doesn't mean you're not managing that money in that household. You're managing what that household needs at that level. So that's number one. And then number two, when you think about the departments in your household, so the Sunday basket is one of your departments. That's weekly planning. Another department would be as a CEO doing strategic planning. So 3 times a year, I do a 2-day planning retreat for people that are planning for their household. Then there are 2 different things that you need to organize in your household, which is your information management and then your physical space. And those need to be updated as you change different phases of life. And then there's just the regular work, like there's the housework, household management, there's so much work. There are so many departments inside of your household. And when you start thinking this way, it does a couple of things. One, it makes you feel not more important, but more significant. What you're
Yeah.
doing is significant. I'm not just doing the vacuuming or paying the bills. Like I am managing this household that I've been given the privilege of running. Like it's more significant. And then the second thing when you're thinking about your household this way is you start to able to pull things in from business into the household that makes sense in business, which should make sense at home. Like literally, we had to figure out everything from scratch at our households. And we all cobble together whatever, Jimmy rig system that we can for every single thing that we do. And then when you have to manage your parents' household, they have it organized differently. Now you've got 2 different systems. It's like you're running 2 different households on 2 different systems. Whereas you're launching your kids into adulthood, they're going to cobble together their own system if you don't give them one. So the Sunday basket is a system. The paper solution is a system. If you don't know or you haven't established systems, like I'm a teacher, I'll just teach you how. And you can just start with the systems that I have.
Mm. Oh, I know what I was going to say a few minutes ago. Look at how all of the pieces of your life have aligned. You were a teacher and
Yeah.
now you are
Yeah.
teaching people, and
Yes.
like the simplicity of it. And that is such a beautiful, I hope our listeners take that away. Like, you are always right where you are supposed to be. There is no wrong path. Look at how everything that you've been through has led you to be the best version of Organized 365 and the author of your book and the leader of your groups. It's just a beautiful thing to witness.
Thank you. Thank you so
Mhm.
much.
Mm. Um, you mentioned information system, and what was the other one that you grouped with that?
Physical
Physical. Okay,
system.
so physical is
Yeah.
like organizing the house and
Yes.
tidying up and things, and information would be like passwords and
Paper.
paper.
But it's more like it used to be paper, and now we have all these digital. So as you know, with kids, like every single sport and gym and everything they have is a different app, for crying out loud. It's not even all coming into your email anymore. Now
And
you
they
have to
don't
have like
even
all these
communicate.
no. Now you and they don't sync. And oh my gosh. So on Sunday, you're like, okay, log into the soccer app, log into the gym app, log into the school app, log into this thing, check the email, check the like you have to get all your information together just to even do the Sunday basket. So that's
Mhm.
your weekly planning. But when you go to running the household, we are an economic entity. I know that because even after you die, you're going to have to file another tax return. Like the government's like,
Mhm.
excuse me, I know they left, but we would like you to do their final assignment for them and turn it into us, and we will be grading it. So as you as you have to step in for someone else to manage your own life can be complicated, but you know what you know. You know what you have in your head, what you have on the computer, what you have in paper. Now, when you need to do it for your parents, sometimes you don't have access to what's in their head. Some of them don't even have a computer and they don't have what they need in the file cabinet. So you need certain information to be a power of healthcare for someone and make decisions for them. You need information to be power of attorney and pay their bills and do all of those things. And then you need information when you eventually need to settle an estate. And we will all do this. Like I've already settled an estate. My husband and I will probably settle 7. That's how many people we're
Oh.
listed as the executor on. You don't realize how many you're listed as the executor on until you start thinking about it. Like we're
Well,
the oldest.
yeah, I'm very familiar with the situation because I lost my dad 2 years ago and I'm the
Oh, I'm
oldest. And
sorry. I'm sorry.
thank you. I'm the oldest and he was not married anymore. He was divorced. So, and
Mhm.
he lived his life like a free range bachelor. He had no plans of dying or going anywhere. And
Yep.
paper was definitely a problem for him. He had it in shoe boxes. I am not
Mm-hmm.
exaggerating, just shoe
Seen
boxes
it.
of paper. And hearing you say, like, stepping in for someone else, if we could, oh, if we could get in the mindset of like
Mm-hmm.
organizing our life so that when and if, it's not if, we are all going to leave this world,
Right.
we can leave it organized for somebody to be able to move through that process easier. Like, we're not done with my dad's estate, and it's been 2 years.
Right. My dad had golf scores and car catalogs in his file cabinet. Never did get into his computer. He had 4 lawyers though, so I spent a lot of time with them. I
Yeah.
mean, it was just yeah, so that's why I created the financial binder. The financial binder is literally Mad Libs for adults. It is a workbook. You open it up and you just start like, okay, how do we find the social security number? Where is the death certificate? Okay, where's the like
Oh
so
my
when you
God, I
are
love that.
yeah, when you're living your adult life, you're like, well, I'm healthy. I don't need to fill this out. Yes and no. Um, it's convenient for you too to know all the different credit cards you have and all the different loans you have. And as you're going through the system, you're going to realize like my husband and I made a trust because we were going to go to Italy. Still haven't gone to Italy, but anyway, we were going to go. So we made a trust. And then as I was making the binder, I was like, we didn't put anything in the name of the trust. Like everything was still like transfer on debt to the children. That doesn't help
Mm,
you. So we had a trust with nothing in the trust. Like we do some of these checkbox things, but then we don't go through and like, okay, well then you need to move the house into transfer on death to the trust instead of the children. Like all of these things, every action creates an equal and opposite reaction, and nobody has time for this. We don't have time
mm.
for this. So like, I'll do it later. I'll do it later. I'll do it later. Or for a long time, I didn't want to do it because I didn't want to know how little money we had and how much debt we had. I didn't really need to see all that on paper. Thank you.
Right.
Thank goodness my husband has a job and we have a lot of credit. I don't know what to tell you. Right?
Yes. Oh God. Yeah, and but when we face the thing, like what is the saying? I'm so bad with words tonight. I did not sleep very well last night and it's
Oh.
starting to show. Um, what we resist persists. That's what it is. Like
Mm,
not wanting to look at the financials, not wanting to clean up the mess of the papers, and I
yes.
imagine your clients feel so much lighter after
So
working with
much lighter. So much lighter. And often they will get started because, it's a project or they're interested in organizing, or I tricked them on the podcast to liking me. They're like, okay, I'll do the Sunday basket. Next thing they know, they're like doing the whole thing. Um, but a lot of people will find me when they're like you, like you're settling your dad's estate and you're like, okay, I don't want to have to do this again. Or their parents are declining and they're like, okay, I'm in the process of taking over all of this. So I'll make a financial binder for mom and I'll put mom on the Sunday basket. And what we're finding is that as they put their parents in the Sunday basket, their cognition actually increases for a period of time because the
it.
system
Yep.
takes away some of the thinking. I haven't proved this in science yet, but I'm almost done with my PhD, so I will be. I know you can't prove anything. People, PhDs are like, you can't prove anything. Science is so funny, you guys. It's like so funny. It is a practice, by the way. But I will be finding support for externalizing your executive function. So what we're finding is number one, the Sunday basket in this scenario with this mother-daughter, they implemented it at the same time. It allowed the mother to be more independent for a period of time with her own finances that she had started to lose the ability to do. But
Mm.
secondly, it allowed the daughter to see what she was doing, but she
Oh,
didn't know everything she was doing. And third, it put both households on the same system, two boxes running the household. So now it's like, okay, well, the auto in mine is in this one and the auto in here. Like they were running on the same system. And that is so hard. I'm sure you found it with your dad. Like the way you do budgets is not the way he does it. The way you maintained your house, maybe not the way that he maintained their house. And also, you mentioned the shoe boxes thing. That is so normal. So normal.
really?
Not processing paperwork is very normal, number one. And second of all, as people get older and they become declining in health or they're getting older on in years, sometimes they run out of money and they run out of the capacity to process their own paperwork. And so they just stop opening it and you'll just find bags of unopened mail. And
Yeah.
so I can't even tell you how many houses. It's that combination of the cognitive of processing it and the not having enough money to pay it.
Mm. Yeah, my dad was just drowning in overwhelm. I mean,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
he had nobody
And
else
who's
to
going to
help
know?
him,
Yeah.
right? And my
Mm-hmm.
grandpa died about 6 months before he did. He was in cancer treatments, and
Mm-hmm.
my grandma died. Was she a year before him or 6 months? It all happened very fast, and they were all business partners. So I just, I can't stress enough to anybody who would listen to me in the last 2 years, like, do you have, and I don't have it at the moment, but I need to get my ducks back in a row, like life insurance and your will updated, and
Yep. Yep.
at
Transfer on
least,
death on your house at a minimum.
mm-hmm.
Can I explain what that is in case your people don't know?
Yes, please.
Okay. So you don't have to own your house outright in order to do this, but you can have a mortgage on your house. But essentially, like if you're married and you're both listed on the title and one spouse dies, then the other spouse gets the house. And then if you both pass away, then the house goes into probate, which means that it has to go through the estate process and get taxed. But what you can do on your house, and you do this on cars too, is you can do what's called transfer on death. So let's say my husband and I are both listed on our house. We own our house. And then you can do transfer on death to our children. And then at the time of death, the house goes to the children outside of probate. Cars too. And I learned this because when my dad was in the hospital and I'm reading the executor book, knowing that he's not going to get better. And it's like, it told me to do this. And I went over and I had power of attorney for my father. And there are multiple different powers of attorney. Like you could have a power of attorney that says you could pay the bills and that's all. I had a power of attorney where I could buy and sell land. I could do whatever I wanted. So I had a strong power of attorney. So I was able to go to the county register and actually transfer the house to transfer on death to my sister and I. If we hadn't done that, we wouldn't have gotten the house because my dad's estate was insolvent, meaning he didn't have enough cash for all the liabilities that he had. So the state would have taken that house, sold it, and then paid off credit cards and things like that. So my sister and I got that house outside of probate because I was able to do that. Also, this is what happens on 401k. So usually when you sign up for a 401k, you'll list a beneficiary and a secondary and a third beneficiary. That's how 401ks work. And any kind of investment like that. When the person passes, the money immediately goes to the beneficiary outside of probate. And there's more than that. But I mean, I share that, whenever I can because it's such a simple thing to do. It doesn't take much time. Yeah.
It's very clean. If you can
Yeah.
keep it out of the court system, it is so much easier and cleaner. Yeah, my
Mm.
grandpa actually did that with his property to my dad. But yeah, we have such a very unique mess. Everybody passing
Yes.
away
So
within.
I can guess what the mess is. And the mess is everybody passed away too quickly to update any of the documents to make sure things were going to keep moving on down the line. And so then you end up eventually something has to go through probate and you lose a lot that way. And it is so heartbreaking. And no one wants to have these conversations. And no matter how many times you ask your parents or grandparents, do you have everything done? When you say, do you have everything done? And they say yes, they do not because they don't know what everything means. They don't know what
Yeah.
it means. And they're like, yes, I have a transfer on death. Great. That was for the last residence, not this one. I
Mm,
have a trust. Wasn't for this. That was for when you got the money from somebody else, not for you to give the money to the next ones. Like
for
when
sure.
I get in the file, I've been in so many file cabinets. I've helped so many people do estates. Like I know the problems you're going to run into, but after the fact, there's nothing you could do about it. Nothing
No.
you could do about it.
Yeah, it's so frustrating and sad, and it causes so much discourse in the family. And that
Oh, yes. Oh,
So
yes.
not only do
So
you
bad.
lose your loved one, but you might lose
Yeah.
half your family. And like that's what happened in my family. I lost three family members in a course of a year or so, a year and a half, and lost the other half just because of feuding. And it's just really sad. It doesn't have to happen that way.
No, people don't understand it. Yeah. It's so hard. It is so hard.
So you actually come in and help people when they're going through um
So I did.
trades.
I
Yeah,
used to.
okay.
That's what, when I was doing in-home organizing, I would help widows go through their paperwork. There's this one lady, she, her estate lawyer came over and he yelled at me. And I was like, well, we've got this check to cash. We got this. I don't know. She has all these things. I was like, okay. So then later we were going through all her paperwork and I said, I think that you have another bank account at this bank. And she's like, because it's amazing. You can organize paperwork with not really looking at the numbers. And I was like, and I'm not good at details, obviously. I was like, I think there's an extra account here. I think it was just like off by a little bit. And if there was a second account, it was like off by like $5,000. It was just so weird. It was the weirdest thing. So we go up to the bank. She goes, you want to go to the bank? I go, I do. So we go to the bank and the banker's like, look, we have already settled this estate. Everything is done. There isn't another account, blah, 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 blah. And I just sat there. She's like, do you want me to go look again? I said, I do. I mean, at this point, I've got egg on my face already. Like, what's it going to hurt?
Right.
Worst case scenario, she only has four, not five bank accounts. I mean, that's how many bank accounts we were. And this was a six-figure bank account. Sure enough, it was there. And
Oh
she's
my
like, "Oh my
God.
gosh, that's right. My husband made an LLC because that was going to be for our dream home one day because he like died of an instant heart attack on a vacation."
Okay.
And yeah, it was like $125,000, but it was under an LLC and it wasn't tied to either of their social security numbers. Yeah, so I
Wow.
found 125 grand. I'm just telling you, you do not know what is in that paperwork, and and you have to go through every piece of paper, and you're in grief. It's a whole thing. So
It
our
is.
financial binder has a workbook in it that teaches you how to go through those things. And I'm in the process. By the summer, I'll have it done where I'm just going to have videos that go with that also, like, hi, welcome to being an executor. Never thought you'd be here, right? And just kind of walk you through with more videos, but you don't even really need those. The binder is what you need. That's the information you need to go find
Mm.
in order to put together this jigsaw puzzle of your life.
Yeah. So you can purchase the binder separate from the Sunday
Yep.
basket, and you have all
Yep.
of that on your website, I imagine.
Yeah, I have an adult office supply store,
I
adulting.
love it. Well, it sounds like it's like my favorite version of office supply store.
Well, maybe
Like,
not favorite version, but we do have fun patterns, but it does solve I solve the problem of the household manager. You're like, oh, geez, I didn't realize that we were on this part of the roller coaster. I have something for that.
yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful. Um, okay. Well, oh, I do want to, I wrote down one of the quotes that I pulled or that I had highlighted. Um, and I just thought we should maybe mention that because it was so good. Okay. I do these things not so that I can find more stuff, fit more stuff into my day, but so that I can make sure I have time for myself. Studying your time and being intentional about where your time goes is self-care. Okay. Obviously, I'm all about intentional.
Yeah.
Um, intentional living, intentional, any intention. And then that it is part of self-care, like self-care. Tell me about that quote
Okay.
where you
So I'm old, as I told you. And one of the things I'm learning in my PhD is that we have not operationally defined a lot of things that are like general. You know how the big joke, like 6'7", nobody knows what it means? Yeah. People also don't know what housework means, and people don't know what self care means. So I have defined it. I operationally defined housework in a study that I'm trying to get published in academia because no one has studied it. No one has defined it. 2,000 people have studied it. No one's defined it. Let that blow your mind. So now let's talk about self care. So I'm in a PhD class. Of course, I'm the oldest one there. And I'm talking to my professor, who's much younger than me. And I'm asking her about we're in developmental psychology, adult developmental stages. I'm like, so where is menopause? And she's like, it's not a developmental stage. I'm like, how can puberty be a stage and menopause is not a stage? And she's like, it's just how it is. I'm like, okay, I don't have this kind of time to do this much research. So I guess we'll just have to leave that there. So as she continues to talk, and I'm like, okay, this is like, we need to do a lot more research before we can even be talking about the adult developmental stages. I get this picture in my head of the St. Louis Arch. And at the bottom of one end, I could see childcare. And the bottom of the other end, I could see elder care. And obviously, I support people and taking care of elders, and I love children, and I, was stay-at-home mom, and I love childcare, and I have a developmental degree in early childhood education. And I'm like, okay, childcare, elder care, self-care. So what is childcare? What is elder care? Obviously, it's the obvious things. You need clothing, you need food, you need nutrition, you need a household to live in. But it's more than that. It's not just that. It's also you provide education for children and activities for elders and, spiritual outlets, and you go and you visit them and you talk to them and you bring them treats and you give them hugs and like you do all these things. You wouldn't just feed them, bathe them, and put them in a room all day. That would be considered abuse. You have to give this care. It's like, okay, well, then what is self care? It's a bubble bath. It's getting your nails done. No, it is not. From 18 to 88, you are in charge of your own care of you. And so you need to give you clothing. Can be bought from the resale shop, but please buy yourself some new underwear tomorrow because it's been a long time. How about a bra? You need to give yourself food. Doesn't have to be leftover chicken nuggets and a protein bar on your way out the door. Like if you're filling up all the kids' water bottles, fill up yours. If you're making a special meal for the infant because they need a formula, make a special meal that meets your macros. It's taking $25 for the Pilates class because you want to do it, just like you're paying for soccer class for your children who are not going to be professional soccer people. Like
Mm.
it's taking some of the family resources for you. You are a family person. Now, when the kids are little and they're babies and you're not sleeping and all that, of course, you're going to give of yourself. But at some point, by the time the kid is 5, you should be one of the people on the list. I wasn't on the list. So here my kids are going into middle school. I had 3 outfits in my closet. So another book I wrote called Organization is a Learnable Skill is my memoir. I wrote my own memoir and published it because I
I
wanted
love
to.
it.
It's about the year I turned 40. And I literally could not organize my closet the year I turned 40 because only 3 outfits fit me. And I couldn't get rid of everything. And I kept wearing the same clothes over and over again, and they had stains and stuff on it. People were like, oh, your shirt is torn. I'm like, oh, that just happened. 6 months ago because I don't have any clothes and I don't have any money for clothes. Like I was so depleted. We need to care for ourselves, you guys. Like either your fourth grade teacher cared for you or your mom or whoever it was in your childhood really saw you and you're like, they really support me. How would that person, if they looked at what you're doing with you right now, they'd be like, all right, we got to have an intervention. Step
Right.
1, you go to bed at 9 o'clock. Step 2, like, I mean, like, what would they do to help you? How would they help you put your oxygen mask on? What does that look like?
Are you treating yourself as if you were treating your best friend? That's what I tell my people. Like,
Yes.
would you let your best friend do what you're doing to yourself? Would you talk to
No,
yourself that way? Like
no,
it's a really
no,
good
we wouldn't.
reframe. No.
But that is self-care, care of yourself. It
Hmm.
is not a bubble bath,
Hmm.
although I do take that every night. It's not getting your nails done, even though I do that too. Self-care for me was getting my PhD because I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
Why not? The kids went to school, they're graduated. Why not further my education, grow my uniqueness? Okay, it's a big lift, but a lot of people do marathons. I'm not doing that. I mean, you have a big thing. Why can't we do these things in our 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s? Like, why not? We're not too old.
Another thing I want to bring up is for the stay-at-home moms out there, um, I think it's really easy. You mentioned how, it's oh, you're the unpaid labor. Put a number to the hours that it would take for you, or put
Oh,
a number to the dollar amount that it would take for daycare, and then
mhm,
have that in the back of your mind, and it kind of
mhm.
really shifts everything
Yeah.
because you can get stuck in this, oh, I'm just a stay-at-home mom. No, I'm actually providing, $1,000 a month in childcare. If I had to go to work, we would have to figure that out. And that can
Mhm.
really change your whole perception.
Yeah. How much you're saving the
Yeah.
family.
Hmm.
Mhm.
And it's so much more than money, obviously. You
Right,
you
right.
know who's taking care of your babies and all the safety concerns are, not there as
Right.
if, but and then from that place, it makes investing in yourself, whether it be getting your nails done or getting your PhD, more justifiable. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I mean,
Hmm.
for a long time when I was a stay-at-home mom, like I never cut out my book budget. So like I would get books from the library, but I like to own my books. So I'd always like sneak a book here, sneak a book there. Education's a big thing to me. So I'll sneak this
Yep.
education here, sneak that education there. Go to local conferences and things instead of faraway conferences. Like you could find ways to feed your uniqueness within the budget that you have.
Hmm.
So time, talent, treasure, thought, strategy, thinking, long range, like starting my business was my self-care because it's a business. I have to have a business expense. Like a lot of the business expenses were things that I just wanted to be able to do. You know, I
Yep.
wanted to go to conferences. I wanted to buy books. I wanted to learn. I wanted to make money. I wanted to do these things. So they
You were
were under the
following your joy.
umbrella of the business. Yeah.
Yeah, you were
Yeah.
following your joy, and that's how you ended up being so successful because you were lit up along the
Mm.
way and it just made you a magnet.
I love it. I mean, I love what I do.
You can tell. I love that. You are just like this. If I, man, where are you coming from? I can't remember.
Cincinnati, Ohio.
Oh, man, you're kind of far for me to have you come over and help me
Where are
organize.
you?
Wisconsin.
Well, I don't go in homes anymore and organize. Yeah, you got to do it online. I teach you how online you got to do it.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, amazing. This has been such a great conversation, Lisa. Will you please remind our listeners where they can find you real quick?
Yeah, so the podcast is called Organize 365. So if you like this conversation, which we kind of meandered all over the place, that's kind of what I do on the podcast.
Me too.
And and then the website is organize365.com. That's where you can find the programs, courses, and all of that. And I'm most active on Instagram. So if you want to follow me over there, Organize365.
Beautiful. And I want to leave you with one last question.
Okay.
If life can really be designed, what's one
Hmm.
thing that someone listening today could do to start designing the life they love?
Okay, so this is what I would do. If you were like, oh my gosh, I don't even know what's possible. I don't know. When you go to bed tonight, as you lay down and you think, I want you to start to dream, what if? And just doesn't matter what if, like, what if I started working out? What if I started a business? What if we had another baby? What if I moved to a different state? It doesn't matter what the what if is, like, what if, like anything that comes up. And then just start to play that out as if it's a movie in your head. What if we moved to Florida? Okay, well, would it be East Coast or West Coast? Would I get a condo or a house? Would I, like, until you fall asleep? And just keep playing those things out over and over and over again until you have this seed of something where you're like, I think that's the thing. Then I keep playing it out longer and longer. Like, okay, well, what does that look like in every season? What would that look like 3 years, 5 years, 10 years from now? Is that something I really want to do? And then all of a sudden it just like bubbles up and it just happens. It's so cool.
Yeah, it gets you living in that state of possibility. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Right before bed.
Yeah.
Good way to fall asleep too.
Yes. I love it.
Awesome. Okay, Lisa. Well, thank you so much for being here, and I hope our listeners come and find you and get their life in order.
Thank you.
Okay, my loves, thanks for hanging with me. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please like, share, subscribe, leave me a rating, all that good stuff, and I'll see you next week. If not before, don't forget to sign up for the new moon resets and Sacred Rage. Love you.